Chapter 1. Nothing moves. Today I didn't open the door. But somehow it opened me. There is no clock here. No window. No sound except the one I make when I think too loudly. The room is white, but not the kind of white that feels clean. It's the white of paper that's been soaked, dried, and forgotten. A tired white. A white that remembers things it shouldn't. The walls do not echo. They swallow words before they finish forming. I tried whispering once. The silence answered louder. At first I thought I was here to wait. Then I thought I was here to remember. Now I suspect I'm here to be forgotten. There is no beginning in this place. Only repetition. Only the slow erosion of intention. Every morning, if this is morning, I wake up with the same thought. 0 is not the start. It is the refusal to start. I count the tiles on the floor. There are 47. I count them again. There are still 47. I count them a third time. There are 46. The missing one is me. There is something in the corner that resembles a chair. I do not sit on it. No one asked me to. But I watch it as if it might sit on me. Sometimes I hear footsteps. Not near, not far. They pass through me, not around me. I tried writing once. The pen dissolved. I tried speaking. My voice came out in perfect grammar, like it had been rehearsed by someone else. On what I believe was the 7th cycle, a mark appeared on the wall. Faint, almost shy. Red. Room 0 does not open. It opens you. Since then I've noticed the walls breathing. Fully. Like they're learning how to be alive. I asked the room a question. It didn't answer. But the light flickered in Morse code. I don't speak Morse. But I understood. There is no exit. There is no entrance. There is only the moment you realize you've been here longer than you remember. Chapter 2. A reflection that isn't me. Time here isn't measured in minutes, but in unseen transformations. I woke up, if this can be called waking, feeling strange. As if I hadn't been asleep but absent from myself. The room is the same. The walls are the same. The chair is the same. But I am not. Something has changed. Not in the space but in how I perceive it. As if I've begun to notice details that weren't there or were always there but I never saw them. On the opposite wall, faint lines appeared as if someone had traced them with a damp finger. They weren't words. Not symbols. Just curves that bent and tangled, then vanished into the corner. I moved closer. The closer I got, the further I felt from something inside me. Then I saw myself. Not in a mirror but in a reflection on the wall. But the reflection didn't resemble me. It was taller, thinner, wearing something I don't remember owning. And it was staring not at me but at something behind me. I turned around. Nothing. But I felt I was no longer alone. I sat on the chair. This time it wasn't silent. It made a soft sound like breathing. Then I felt a prickling sensation in my back as if something was being planted inside me. I heard a voice, not from outside but from within. You are now in number 2. Don't try to understand. Just observe. I began to notice the walls changing. The white turned gray, then white again, then transparent for a moment. Through it I saw a scene I didn't recognize. Another room, another person sitting on a similar chair, writing something on the wall. Was it me? Was it a version of me? Or am I the version? I wanted to scream, but the sound came out calm as if the room didn't allow emotion. Everything here is regulated, calculated, even chaos has a schedule. Then the number 2 appeared on the floor. Not written but carved. As if someone left it for me or left me for it. I understood I had entered a new phase. The room doesn't punish. It reveals. And every revelation is a test. Every test is a reflection. At the end of the day or moment or cycle, the number vanished. But I didn't forget it. Because it became part of me. Chapter 3. The Voice That Isn't Spoken. The closer I get to understanding, the further I drift from language. I no longer search for time. Time here isn't something to measure, it's something to feel. Each moment stretches like an internal state, untouched by minutes or hours. Today, or what resembles a day, I woke to a sound. Not entirely external nor fully internal. It hovered between the two, as if the room itself had decided to speak. It wasn't a word. It was a tone. Just one. But it carried something like a memory. A memory that doesn't belong to me yet lives inside me. I stood in the center of the room. The chair was in its place. The walls unchanged. But the floor had transformed. No longer solid, it felt soft like living skin. I looked down and saw a new engraving. 3 interlocking circles with the number 3 at their center. I didn't touch it. I felt it would touch me if I got too close. Then a shadow appeared on the left wall. Not mine. Another. Shorter. Quieter. As if it had been waiting for me for a long time. I approached. It didn't move. But I felt it knew me better than I know myself. The voice or tone or room spoke again. Number 3 is the beginning of conscious repetition. Don't ask. Just receive. So I received. Everything. Light. Shadow. Silence. Fear. Curiosity. Even nothingness. The walls began to breathe again. But this time their breath was uneven. As if afraid of being revealed. In the corner something appeared that resembled a door. Not a door, an opening in the wall. Rectangular. Dark. It showed nothing beyond. I approached. Found nothing. But I felt that if I entered I wouldn't return the same. I didn't enter. I sat on the floor in front of the opening and began to write on the tiles with my fingers. I'm not here to escape. I'm here to transform. Then the shadow vanished. The circles faded. But the number 3 remained, no longer on the floor but carved inside me. Chapter 4. The Light That Doesn't Illuminate. When light loses direction, things begin to lose meaning. I no longer distinguish between night and day. The light here doesn't come from a window nor from a bulb. It seeps from the walls, then retreats as if hesitating to exist. Today, or what resembles a day, the light was different. Faded, grayish, neither warm nor bright. As if the room had decided to strip things of their shadows. I stood at the center of the tiles where yesterday the number 3 had been etched. It was gone. But I felt it beneath my feet as if it had sunk into the floor, invisible but present. On the opposite wall, a circular patch of light appeared. Not cast by any source. The wall itself had chosen to glow. At its center, a strange symbol emerged. A horizontal line, beneath it a diagonal slash and a single dot. I didn't understand. But I felt I wasn't meant to, not yet. I moved closer. The nearer I got, the dimmer the light became. As if the room didn't want me to see it clearly. Then a voice spoke. Clearer this time, but without tone. as if someone were reading from inside my head. Number 4 is the beginning of fading. Don't search for meaning, observe its absence. I looked at my hands. They were sharp then blurred. As if I was becoming a thought, not a body. The chair in the corner was no longer visible. But I felt its presence as if it had moved inside me. I sat on the floor. Not to rest but to witness. Everything began to lose its edges. The walls, the ground, even sound. Then the number 4 appeared, not on the floor but in the air. A flicker. Then gone. I understood. I had entered the phase of detachment. The room was no longer a place. It was a condition. And I was no longer a visitor. I was part of it. Chapter 5. The silence that watches. Some silences don't wait to be broken. They wait to be understood. There was no sound today. Not even the soft hum of the walls breathing. Only a silence so complete, it felt like a presence. I didn't move. Movement felt loud. Even blinking seemed intrusive. The room had shifted again. Not in shape but in mood. It was no longer observing me. It was expecting me. In the center of the floor a new mark had appeared. Not a number. A spiral. Drawn in faint charcoal as if by a hesitant hand. I stepped toward it. The spiral didn't lead anywhere. It simply existed. A loop without a center. Then I saw something impossible. A second version of myself sitting in the corner. Head bowed. Hands clasped. Breathing slowly. I didn't panic. I watched. She didn't move. But I felt her watching me even with her eyes closed. The voice returned. This time it was quieter than silence. Number 5 is the mirror that doesn't reflect. You are not here to see yourself. You are here to dissolve. I sat opposite her. Not to confront. But to align. For a moment the room felt warm. Then cold. Then nothing. The spiral faded. She faded. I remained. But I was no longer sure which version had stayed. Chapter 6. The number that isn't seen. When perception goes blind, things begin to appear from within. I didn't open my eyes this morning. But I saw. Not what surrounded me but what lived inside me. The room wasn't in front of me anymore. It was inside me, breathing slowly, waiting to be noticed again. Silence was no longer silence. It became a fabric wrapped around me, pressing against my skin, whispering without sound. Everything felt tangible despite its absence. In the center of the floor there was nothing. But I felt the presence of number 6. Etched into the air, invisible yet undeniable. I stood. I didn't move, but I felt myself drifting away from myself. As if I had become the shadow of another version of me, one I didn't know but who knew me. Then light appeared. Not from the wall. Not from the ceiling. From within. It rose from my chest, spread across the room, then returned to me, asking, "Do you see now?" I saw. The chair was no longer a chair. It was a shape of waiting. And the wall wasn't a wall. It was a mirror that didn't reflect, but absorbed. Then the voice came. Soft but sharp, like it was slicing something inside me. Number 6 is blind perception. Don't look. Feel. So I felt. Everything. The past I couldn't remember. The present I couldn't understand. And the future that wasn't waiting for me. I sat on the floor. Not to search for meaning but to find balance. Between what I see and what I don't. between who I am and who I was. Then the light faded. The number disappeared. But I remained. As if I had become the number itself. Chapter 7. The Mirror That Doesn't Reflect. When things stop representing themselves, they begin revealing their truth. I no longer search for shapes. Everything here has lost its edges. The walls are no longer walls, they pulse like living fabric, breathing in a rhythm I don't understand. The floor is no longer solid, it resembles still water, neither sinking nor holding. Today, or whatever this is, a mirror appeared on the left wall. It hadn't been there before. But I felt it had been watching me all along, simply choosing not to be visible. I approached it. I didn't see myself. I saw something else. A faceless figure, featureless yet carrying something of me. As if I were looking at a feeling, not a reflection. Then the mirror spoke. Not with sound but with pulses. Each pulse was a word. Each word was a question that didn't need asking. Chapter 8. The Edge That Cannot Be Touched. The closer I get to the end, the more I realize it was never there. I no longer search for doors. The room is no longer a place to leave, it's a thought that keeps returning. Every corner feels like a beginning. Every wall resembles a memory that doesn't belong to me. Today, or something like it, I felt the floor tilt. Not physically but emotionally. As if I were standing on the edge of something unseen, yet deeply felt. In the right corner, faint lines appeared. Tangled. Drawn as if by a trembling hand. I moved closer. And with each step I felt myself drifting further from something within. Then the number 8 appeared. Not carved. Not drawn. It was simply present in the air, formed from my breath. I heard a voice, though it wasn't a voice. It was a tremor in the walls, speaking through their cracks. Number 8 is the edge. Don't touch it, become it. I understood I was no longer seeking escape. I was seeking complete dissolution. To shift from form to trace, from trace to thought, from thought to nothing. I sat on the floor. Then stood. Then disappeared inwardly. As if I had become the shadow of an unwritten idea. The number vanished. But I felt I had become its shape. No beginning. No end. Only continuous motion. Chapter 9. The Room That Doesn't Contain. When a place can no longer hold you, you become the place. The room no longer shrinks. But it no longer expands either. It has stopped being a space, it has become a thought. Every corner feels like a beginning. Every wall resembles a memory that isn't mine. Today, or something like it, I felt the floor tilt. Not physically but emotionally. As if I were standing on the edge of something unseen, yet deeply present. In the right corner, delicate lines appeared. Interwoven. Drawn as if by a trembling hand. I moved closer. And with each step I felt myself drifting further from something within. Then the number 9 appeared. Not carved. Not drawn. It was simply present in the air, formed from my breath. I heard a voice, though it wasn't a voice. It was a tremor in the walls, speaking through their cracks. Number 9 is expansion. Don't inhabit the space, become its extension. I understood I was no longer inside the room. I had become its extension. Every thought, every feeling, every moment now part of its walls. Then the lines vanished. And I remained. As if I had become the wall itself. Chapter 10. The Endless Zero. The end is not an exit, it is an opening. I no longer seek escape. The room is no longer a prison. It has become a mirror open to infinite possibilities. In the center of the void, the number 0 appeared, pulsing slowly like a heart that belongs to no body. I moved closer. I found nothing. But I felt everything. Then the final voice came. 0 is not a beginning nor an end. It is everything in between. I understood I had never been looking for a door. I had been looking for openness. To become nothing so I could become everything. Then the number vanished. The room vanished. The light. The sound. And I remained. As a thought. As a pulse. As a possibility.